Two babies, one birth. For 300,000 years, when twins were born, your ancestors made a choice. Some named them gods. Others left them in the bush to die. Same birth, same two children. What decided who lived was never about the babies. Twins are rare in nature. Most mammals give birth to one offspring at a time. When twins appear in the wild, one usually doesn't survive. The mother's body can only produce so much milk. The environment can only support so many mouths. But humans are different. In the 1970s and 80s, a British gynecologist named Patrick Nylander walked into a small town in southwest Nigeria called Igbo Ora. He started counting. 45 to 50 sets of twins for every 1,000 births. The global average was 12. Igbo Ora had nearly 4 times the twin birth rate of anywhere else on the planet, and the people who lived there, the Yoruba, didn't just accept twins, they worshipped them. But why? The answer has nothing to do with religion, or kindness, or superstition. It has to do with something far simpler and far more uncomfortable. Among the Yoruba, twins aren't a medical event, they're a spiritual one. When twins are born, the family performs a ceremony. The firstborn is called Taiwo, the one who tastes the world first. The second is Kihinde, the one who comes after but is considered the elder. The belief is that Kihinde sent Taiwo ahead to check if the world was safe. Think about that. The secondborn is the elder. The firstborn is the scout. This isn't just naming, this is theology. The Yoruba believe twins carry a direct connection to the spirit world. They are called Ibeji, sacred beings. When a twin dies, the mother commissions a carved wooden figure. She feeds it, baths it, carries it everywhere. The carving is not a memorial, it is the twin. The surviving child grows up knowing their sibling is still present, still eating, still growing. But here's where it gets dark. A few hundred miles from Yoruba land, the Igbo people made the opposite choice. When twins were born among the Igbo, the babies were taken from the mother and left in the forest. Sometimes in a clay pot, sometimes on a riverbank. She would hear them cry as they were carried into the trees. Then the forest would go quiet. The methods of infanticide across traditional African societies were documented by anthropologist Susan Scrimshaw in 1984. Smothering, drowning, exposure, live burial. The mother was told they were never born. This was not hidden. It was public, communal, and considered necessary. In the Ogidi region, documented by missionaries in the late 1800s, twin mothers were also banished. They were sent to the evil forest, a stretch of land where outcasts were sent to live. The reasoning was specific. Twins were an abomination. A single birth was the order of nature. 2 children from one pregnancy meant something had broken in the fabric of the world. A Scottish missionary named Mary Slessor arrived in Calabar in 1876. She spent the next 4 decades fighting this practice. She took abandoned twins into her own home. She argued with chiefs, with families, with entire communities. She walked into villages where no European had been before. The British colonial government eventually passed laws specifically prohibiting the killing of twins. Laws that had to exist because the practice did. But here's what should stop you. Same continent, same biological event. The Yoruba built a religion around twins. Their neighbors killed them, and the distance between those two responses was less than 200 miles. What made the difference? In 2020, economists at the University of Warwick published a study in the Journal of Development Economics. They merged data on historic twin infanticide with recent birth records from 23 African countries, and they found something that sounds almost too simple to be true. The cultures that killed twins shared one trait. They lived on the edge, nomadic groups, drought-prone regions. Places where a mother already struggled to feed herself. The logic was survival. A nursing mother traveling 20 miles a day on foot cannot carry 2 infants. Her body is burning calories faster than it can replace them. If she tries, all 3 might die. The twins don't survive. She doesn't survive. The family she left behind doesn't survive. The cultures that worship twins shared a different trait. They were sedentary, agricultural. Food secure, the Yoruba were one of the most agriculturally productive societies in West Africa. They farmed yams, cassava, and palm oil in a climate that allowed year-round harvests. Twins were a burden they could afford. And so they became a blessing. Think about your own life right now. You're sitting in a room with food within walking distance. You have a roof. You have stability. In that world, 2 babies are a celebration. Now imagine you're walking. You've been walking for days. You're carrying 1 child on your back and everything you own on your head. In that world, 2 babies are a math problem with no answer. The line between a curse and a miracle was not morality. It was calories. But here's where it gets stranger. Some cultures went further than either worship or abandonment. In June 2024, a team of archaeologists published a DNA study in the journal Nature from the ancient Maya city of Chichen Itza. They had excavated a ritual deposit dating to roughly 500 AD. Inside it were the remains of over 100 children. Boys, the genetic analysis, pulled from 64 of them, confirmed that several pairs were identical twins, sharing 100% of their DNA. Others were close relatives, brothers, cousins. They had been sacrificed. The Maya, like the Yoruba, saw twins as sacred, but their definition of sacred included a different obligation. Twins were a bridge between worlds, and a bridge, in Maya theology, required maintenance. The Popol Vuh, the sacred text of the Quiche Maya, tells the story of the hero twins Hunahpu and Xbalanque. They travel to the underworld, Xibalba. They defeat the lords of death. They die, and they are reborn. They become the sun and the moon. It is the founding myth of an entire civilization, and at its center are two boys who die and come back. When the Maya sacrificed twins at Chichen Itza, they were not killing them in the way the Igbo killed twins, out of fear, out of scarcity, out of survival math. They were sending them to the underworld, to do what the hero twins did, to defeat death, to bring the rain, to keep the world turning. The sacrifice was an act of worship, the most expensive offering a society could make. Same event. Two newborns. One culture kills them because it can't afford to feed them. Another kills them because it believes they can save the world. And here's the part nobody talks about. We look at these practices and we sort them. Killing is wrong. Worshipping is right. Sacrifice is monstrous. We use our own moral framework, the one built by our own calories, our own supermarkets, our own running water, to judge people who lived inside a completely different math. But the evidence says something harder to sit with. Every culture in this story believed its treatment of twins was correct. Not because they were evil or stupid, because their response was shaped by the same force that shapes everything, the environment they were trying to survive in. The Yoruba didn't choose to worship twins. Their agricultural surplus made it possible. The Igbo didn't choose to fear twins. Their soil was poorer, their mobility was higher, and 2 infants on a moving body was a death sentence for the family. The Maya didn't choose to sacrifice twins. Their mythology told them it was the highest act of devotion. Morality, in this story, is not a fixed line, it's an adaptation. It bends to what the environment demands, and the people inside it cannot see the bend. Your own moral instincts, the ones telling you right now that killing twins is monstrous. Those instincts were also shaped by your environment. You just can't see it because you're inside it. Today, twins are born in hospitals with monitors and incubators. The survival rate is over 95%. We don't have to choose. But for 300,000 years, every tribe on Earth had to make that choice. And the choice was never really theirs. It was made by the soil, by the rainfall, by the distance to the next water source. The twins who lived were not luckier. They were born in a place that could feed 2. The twins who died were not cursed. They were born in a place that couldn't. And the difference between a god and a burden was never about the babies. It was about the ground they were born on.